Critical Hit, a Major Spoilers podcast. Thank you so much for downloading and checking us out this week. Oh my gosh, I have been waiting an entire week to find out how Kevin is going to run our first race. Apparently the first stage of a race that we're doing, Kevin. Is that what's going on?
That's right. You guys are on the planet of Akaton, the red planet, barren wasteland, and you have 3 rival teams set up, ready to go with their own custom vehicles, their own sponsors, their own fans, their own weapons. And last time
on Critical Hit,
you guys had gotten just to the starting line, and the announcers were just about to tell you that this was the time to kickstart your engines and go, and the tension was thick, and you were about to start going forth on your first race on Drifters.
Ooh, let's do this.
So you have revved your engines, the announcers say, on your mark, set, go, and you are able to tear off into your first race. So, for some mechanics. First of all, on the camera that we have, I'm going to outline which vehicle is which so that you can track yourselves. This large, kind of blocky, bulky vehicle off to the left is the Basilisk, Team Rust Dragon's big rig. It's super armored, heavily armed, the works. This little tiny one here that's yellow, this is you guys. This is the Sand Skank. You are just much smaller than actually you're the smallest vehicle out here, though the tripod is a weird size. So this is you guys. If you ever have difficulty tracking it, let me know. This red vehicle here, we're going to say is the Tripod of Doom with Talos and Halicon and their Trox friend, whose name I can't remember. And this super creepy, long, spiny vehicle off to the side, the right side here, is the Colonizer with the Formians. So, this little green area here is the starting line. We are going to proceed forward along this racetrack, which I will describe to you as we go. There will be various things you can encounter along the way, and what we're eventually going to do is flip directions on the map and go down a different path. But someone needs to be responsible for the Sand Skank itself. That is to say, tracking its hit points, because it's a vehicle. It has its own armor class, its own hit points, a hardness, stuff like that. So someone needs to be responsible for that. Who is going to volunteer?
I can do that.
I would tend to volunteer Stephen as the pilot, but I could also do it.
I can do it.
Okay. So Stephen, pull that up. So when it says speed 5, what it means is that you move 5 squares.
Sure.
Now, for the purpose of this, I've abstracted away measures of distance. We're not talking about feet. We're not talking about meters. We're just talking about squares of distance, because this is how much map space we have to work with, and it doesn't really matter. What matters most in this, which is fundamentally a race, is relative speed and distance, not the absolute distance of the track. So your speed is 5. Other things might have higher or lower speed. When it says full 8, what it means is your initial speed, and you're just like, I hate to say walking around speed, but your base speed is 5. But if you rev up, which is an action you'll be able to take, you can get up to a speed of 8.
Okay.
Other things on there are the hit points, hardness. Hardness basically subtracts from all the damage you're being dealt. So let's say I dealt you 9 damage. What's your vehicle's hardness?
5.
So the vehicle would only take 4 damage.
Okay.
9 minus 5 is 4. It has a KAC and an EAC, just like a person. It has collision damage, which means you can collide with other vehicles, and we can get to that because that is certainly relevant. If you successfully slam into another vehicle, that is the damage they take, and your vehicle takes half as much. So whatever you roll, you take half of it, and the vehicle you collide with takes that much. There are a few modifiers listed, basically about modifiers to whoever the pilot, which I assume will be Bob, whatever your piloting check is. So it's got a base piloting modifier of 0.
Mm-hmm.
-2 if you're going at full speed, because it's difficult to control something when you're just slamming the gas to the floor. But this is a vehicle that's designed for off-roading. So this first drag is very much on the road. So that doesn't apply here, but it may apply in future phases.
Sure.
The modifications, honestly, that was just a way for me to keep track. It has some light armor. It is an off-roading vehicle. And then the weapons. So the weapons, again, those are currently sealed. So just don't worry about them right now, but they will be available shortly. People who are frequent viewers of the show know that you need to enable your weapons during the race by hitting a weapons-free upgrade.
That's something in the middle of the track or something we have to roll over, or is that a actual switch?
Yeah, it's a big question mark,
and then you get like a red shell. Yeah, okay.
Oh yeah, this is not inspired by Mario Kart. I'll say that.
Oh, notice he said it's not inspired, which means it is inspired.
All right. So now I'm not of the inclination to tell people what they can and can't do. I'm more along my belief is, you come up with an idea, you express it to me, and I'll see how it can work in game. But I do think, since this is your first time, you should be familiar with a few of the basics that you're aware that other people have done on previous shows. Vangi and Hecubino have been talking your guys' ears off about the different strategies behind these things and so forth. So, within the Sand Skink, there are a number of different kind of roles that people can fulfill. These are flexible. You can change them at any time. It's not set in stone or anything like that. It's just defining kind of some sets of actions that you're able to take. So first of all, you can always take whatever action your character could take, like Mind Thrust or something like that. That's fine. You can also make stuff up. That's not a problem by me. But here are some other things that you're able to do. So first of all, there's driving the actual buggy itself. So only one person can be the driver at a time. And those are going to be defined by piloting checks, largely. The driver is responsible for, like if you guys want to ram another vehicle, or how fast you want to go, or avoiding obstacles. That's all the job of the pilot/driver. You have a comms terminal. The comms terminal is super important because the comms terminal is your interaction to the other teams and the outside world. So this is basically a way for you guys to make social checks, either to build up yourselves and build up, like, for instance, your brand or your sponsor, or hype up your fans, anything like that. Or you can also taunt other teams, because this is your way of communicating to them. There's also a scanner that's been built into the new computer terminals that were added to the buggy. The scanner lets you gain information about your surrounding area in a variety of different ways, depending on exactly what you're trying to scan. But since this is completely unknown, this is your way of gaining information. Then once weapons are available, of course, there's weapon systems that you could use. You can still use your personal weapons, but vehicle weapons, think of like a spectrum between a person shooting a gun and, a battleship firing a whatever kind of weapons battleships use. I don't even know what they're called.
Bigger guns?
Yep, much bigger guns. These are those guns that can only be mounted on, vehicles. So they do substantially more damage than personal weapons. And just like your vehicle has a hardness, you can probably expect other vehicles have hardnesses. So personal weapons might not be that great, whereas vehicle weapons might have more of a punch. And you can also try to repair your vehicle. So that would come when the vehicle has taken substantial damage. And you have a repair kit, and that's going to be a more manual process. So those are just some outlines of things you can do at a high level without saying that there's things you can't do. Are you guys ready?
Ready.
Let's go.
Yeah.
All right. Roll initiative.
Initiatize.
By the way, for initiative, I'm aggregating the other teams as having one initiative, and I'm just going to resolve everything they do all at once. And you guys don't need to worry about it, but that's what's going to happen. But you guys all get to act independently.
Wow, 2 nat 1s on initiative.
I got a nat 20, so it evens out.
Not yet.
Well, Sam just thinks her roll counts twice as much.
I mean, there means
when we have
I guess it's possible that your the NPCs are going faster than me, but a nat 20 with a plus 10 mod at level 3 is basically an auto go first, as far as I can tell.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
So let's see here. Amu, you're at
7?
and Grig's at 13. Well, there is just no doubt about it. Vangi, you're going to be going first. By the way, the vehicle is going to move on the pilot's turn.
Yay, so we get to move last almost.
We'll see.
We'll see.
You may not be the pilot by that point. Somebody grab the wheel. Hit the accelerator.
By the way, that's a fair point. Other people can grab the wheel, but even if you try to, you can't have multiple pilots move the vehicle in a given round.
That's fair.
That's okay. The thing about things being round based too is that it might get in the way of other things that we're trying to do to have us move last, but generally speaking, it's not going to matter.
Agreed. All right, so Vangi, one thing you can notice in the distance is a little holographic image on this wasteland. Oh, by the way, actually, I guess I didn't describe the starting line, which is relevant for you guys kicking things off. So there's fanfare coming from the gathered spectators, all kept a fairly safe distance away from the vehicles and crews, but screaming and shouting for your victory and or explosive death. The crowd has many red-skinned humans, as well as Yosoki and a variety of other species present as well. There are a dozen camera bots flying over, getting shots from every possible angle and providing extra bright lighting. There's some, like I mentioned before, a literal line in the sand. It's made of some ultra dense black powder that doesn't move at all in the relatively high wind. So the initial racetrack is about 50 meters wide with giant slabs of quick fused concrete 10 meters high and the same in thickness, serving as the barriers to the track. This goes on for a couple of kilometers. Then you see a mountain range with the enormous plateaus and sharp drops that form the Adaya Rift and the canyons in between. It looks like this track ends at the bottom of those canyons with a few possible entry points to get into them. So, along the track, Vangi, you spot these 4 glowing holograms, and they are green ephemeral humanoids holding massive blasters of some sort that are like as big as they are. Like they're either impossibly strong, or these things are impossibly light, or they're just holograms and doesn't have to obey physics. And they turn and pull the trigger and let loose an effusion of emerald energy. And you recognize those for sure as the weapons-free upgrades. Hitting one of those, that is to say going over top of one of those, will enable your weapon systems.
So, yeah, I think what is going to happen just for the start of this round is she is going to like look around and look at Bob, who I assume is like, it's his first time and he's got a little jitters and is kind of frozen. And she's like, just like, be ready to swap back, and just jumps, like shoves him out of the driver's seat and like jumps into it and hits the gas heading towards one of those weapon frees.
Awesome. Are you trying to accelerate? So you'll naturally move your speed, which is 5. Are you trying to get up to full speed?
Oh, how far away is the weapon free?
Well, after you've moved your speed, then a weapon free is still going to be 5 squares away from you. That's the closest one, but there's a few out there. The question is just, you get to move as part of your action of piloting, but you could do something else. You can try to either increase your speed or try to, have some sort of evasive maneuvers to block against future attacks. It's up to you what you do.
Yeah, I'm just going to try to get towards the weapons as fast as possible. So whatever I can do to ramp up my speed, I will do that.
You're hitting the gas?
Yeah.
Okay, that's an automatically successful piloting check. So you move an extra 3 squares, and that's it for Vangie. The next up is the tripod, helmed by Talos and your fellow audition rejects, and it's going to start picking its way across 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It's going to join you up here as Halicon, the extremely competent Sheeran, accelerates the vehicle to match pace with you guys. And Kex, the Trox Solarian, will start poking away at various facilities in the bridge, and from the minaret body of the tripod emerge a few silver tentacle coils that come reaching out, and they are actually not reaching out for the vehicle. These are making attacks against individual people. Specifically, we're going to target, let's say Hecubino.
Okay.
Hecubino, what is your KAC?
It is 15.
Okay. Now, one good thing is everyone inside the vehicle gets +2 to both their EAC and KAC because it provides you some degree of cover. So, effectively, your KAC will be 17.
Does it help saves at all?
It gives you a +1 bonus to your reflex saves if you are forced to make one.
Okay.
And as a direct result of that cover, this tentacle fails to latch onto you. I have a 15 exactly on the die. So when it spirals out towards you, you can see it's basically got at the end of it a weird clamping device, and it's got something in that clamp that looks like a cap of some sort, like a metal cap that's supposed to go on top of your head.
Oh.
But it misses.
Yeah, I hide behind Amu's shell.
At that, you also hear Talos going over the the comm system bragging about how Team Brainpower has more capacity on its 3 members than all 6 of you have put together. So this is starting to build their popularity. They are basically bragging about themselves, and they're kind of taunting you at the same time, but mostly they're saying we're the most brilliant team out here and we're going to win. So their popularity is beginning to increase. As their popularity increases, they seem to be getting some sort of boost from the systems that are built in. So as a result of that, they have a little bit more speed granted to them, because right now, Team Brainpower, because they're the only ones that have reached out to the fans, right now they're the most popular team. And you can see from some of the mods they're put on, little extra armor plates go over the minaret, and their legs take a few extra steps and they get to this first green weapons upgrade before you guys do.
Oh.
Okay.
We love our fans. Our fans are the greatest, don't you think, Hecubino?
I slap him and say, wait for your turn.
Stage check.
No. Yeah, we'll get to that.
All right. So the next up is the Colonizer. The Colonizer moves very, very quickly. Its base speed is actually faster than either the Sand Skinks or the Tripod of Dooms, and it's going to accelerate as well to try to catch up a bit, and then it starts activating its hive mind connections. So they're really aggressively pitching hive mind on all of the networks, and they're asking for their social networks to pitch in to them. So they're now gaining in some popularity as well. They have not overtaken the Team Brainpower and the Tripod of Doom, but they are definitely the second most popular. So they get a slight increase in speed, and they are reaching out to their hive mind to gain some sponsorship benefits. So you can see those runic circuits start flickering all around the vehicle. That is going to bring up Quentin.
Okay, so the Tripod of Doom taunted us, got more popular, and thus got more powerful?
That's right.
Quentin grabs the comm, and Quentin responds to their broadcast by saying, Team Brainpower has stolen our gimmick and is made entirely of rejects. No wonder we all smell synthahol and regret.
Ooh.
Damn.
Yeah. Team Brainpower, more like Team Lane Power.
Agreed.
Oh, man. All right. Why don't you make an intimidate check?
Ooh, am I good at those? Nope.
Let's find out.
I'm a little circle robot, and I got a 13.
All right. So you deliver that, but it just doesn't. It seems like a 13-year-old trying to scare you. It just doesn't work. There's something off pitch about your delivery, and they're just not intimidated, and unfortunately the fans aren't responding. So you did not successfully taunt another team.
Can I use my infosphere integration?
Well, I would allow that if there was. So you have a comms unit, so basically you're connected to the infosphere already. Right. So you could use your own infosphere integration, and that's fine. But I don't think that's going to affect the outcome.
The chosen skill becomes a class skill and gains skill focus as a bonus feat to any wisdom, intelligence, or charisma-based skill.
Well, what's like already be factored into your roll, right?
Would it? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, phooey. Oh, did I say 13? I meant 26.
Okay, so that's it for Quentin?
Is it?
Yeah, what type of action is that?
That'd be a standard action.
Do I have any other actions left?
I mean, so you have move and swift, but like I don't think there's anything you can really do with those while you're aboard the vehicle. You may have opportunities to use them later, but in general, right now, while we're in this kind of vehicle scale combat, your standard action is going to be the most relevant.
I should have bluffed.
Starfighter, they just call it action, but whatever.
I definitely should have bluffed.
Next time.
Well, so taunting your adversaries is typically going to be an intimidate check, whereas bragging about yourself could be a bluff or a diplomacy check, depending on the circumstances. So,
yeah, next time around, play the heartfelt compilation that you've been editing together.
All right, Skritic, you're up.
Any suggestions here? Not sure what.
Yeah,
I mean,
get on the comms and get some information about the track. Hopefully, that's something you got
maybe you could,
ranks in, like survival.
Yeah,
or
if you got perception or survival, or your survival was bonkers. So
on the scanners.
Yeah,
the scanners.
Yeah,
that's
sure.
what
I'll run the scanners.
Sure. Yeah, on the scanners, what are you trying to assess?
Probably any hazardous terrain or anything we need to avoid.
All right, I will let you choose between a perception check and a survival check. They will reveal slightly different information.
Okay. I'll go with survival.
Okay.
And result of 25.
Great. That's quite good. So, this straightaway that you're on, it's all fine. I mean, it's basically level and fairly well paved. Not exactly paved, but clear. So nothing special about this. But those canyons that are up ahead, you can see that there's several different ways into the canyons, and within them, you can already start to make out some details based off of the scan results and your own familiarity with it. These are called the Rift Spires. So the Rift Spires have canyon walls that are part of the Adayo Rift. You're not getting through those. Those are huge. But within the canyon, there's tons of towering pillars of rock that stretch the sky that are precariously balanced. And within that area, you're going to have to make a lot of quick turns or collide into these pillars, and those pillars could also rain down upon you.
Might be able to use that to our advantage. I'll basically relay that information and basically let them know that whoever's going to be piloting at the time to be ready for some quick responses needed.
All right. So that's going to bring up Amu.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, big gaps in the initiative.
Can I go ahead and use physical science to scan up?
Wait. No, okay. Quentin already went. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Amu.
Okay. Physical science to scan up ahead for things we can potentially, things that we might need to avoid or can potentially turn or run the others into?
Absolutely. So there's a few different checks you could make. You could make, if you're looking for geography, then I would say that's a physical science check.
Okay. That's a 27.
Ooh, nice. Okay, so with that, I will give you the detail. So again, on this straightaway, not really. You notice a few electromagnetic disturbances, including around where these weapons-free icons are glowing. And there's a few more ahead. There's actually 5 more ahead that you have plotted out. But when you get into the Rift Spires, you can tell a couple of things. First of all, the pillars are frequent enough that the pilot is going to be under basically a constant torrent of twists and turns. That is, they're going to have to make a piloting check at the end of their turn, every turn, or collide with something. So it's going to be tough. You also can tell from your geography check that if you're moving really fast through this canyon, those checks are going to be harder. So if you're at full speed when you emerge into there, you're going to be taking a penalty. Lastly, you can tell that these spires are really precariously balanced and could probably be targeted with weapons to blow them up and cause them to collapse on top of other vehicles.
So we can blow up the pillars to collapse them?
Absolutely.
All right.
You're not there yet, though. You still got a ways to go.
I'm going to point out what I see and start working on a concoction to help Bob's skills level out.
All right. And that's going to bring up the basilisk. So it's a bit slower than you guys, but it does pick up pace, and it does not have its weapons free yet. So it's going to try to build up itself in popularity. It's currently sitting in 3rd place, which means you guys are in last because no one has made an effort of reaching out to your fan base at all. So it's not doing great, but it's doing better than you. You can even feel, Bob, the engine starting to give you less power from the same amount of force on the gas pedal and stuff like that. It's starting to cut out.
Well, Bob got shoved into probably the center bucket by Vangie.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Because I took the piloting check.
Well, then actually, Bob, you're up.
Okay, I think I can do this, Vengi, if you want me to take over.
Yep, she'll try to squeeze out of the way.
We'll do one of those things where I go up and she goes under, and I'll slide in, slam my foot onto the gas, hoping that we can take it up to full speed. And at the same time, I'm going to look for a patch of any kind of dust or sand or something on the track in front of us. I know it's pretty clean, but this is a dusty planet. I'm sure there's a pile of dust I could drive through and throw up some dust on one of the teams behind us if we can get in front of somebody using my piloting skills.
So you are ahead of Team Rust Dragon. In fact, they're right behind you.
Oh, well,
so
then
that's
we'll
totally
definitely
something
do
you can do.
Yeah, let's
Why
do
don't
that.
you go ahead and make a piloting check?
All right.
Oh,
a 30.
Nice. 30. That's a heck of a check. I like it. So yeah, you're able to, as your reaction, which by the way, people only get 1 reaction per round, and switching who the pilot is, I'm going to say that's a reaction.
Okay, fair enough.
So it's basically like taking the wheel. But you take the wheel, and with it, you do a hard pivot, and it's a pretty gutsy move, but it spews up a bunch of dust, and you forgot this place has very low gravity, so when the dust spews up, it just comes up in this huge cloud, and it takes forever to dissipate, and they're momentarily blinded by this, and so they're going to take a penalty on their next piloting check, and their speed is going to be reduced as a result of you basically creating an obstacle for them.
Okay. So
Nice.
hopefully in that speed, I'm able to also hit one of those hologram weapon units.
So that's one of the things I mentioned before. So, like regardless of how many pilots you have in a round, this is still the first round.
Oh, okay,
so
okay.
You guys can't move twice.
Okay, got it.
Yep. So now we get to Hecubino.
Okay. Am I within range? If it says 25 feet plus 5 feet per 2 levels, can we just consider that 5 squares?
You're within range. I'm going to say you're within range of everyone but the Colonizer. The Colonizer's outside of your range. But
That's
you're
good.
within range of the Tripod of Doom and the Basilisk.
Okay. Yeah, I'm going to kind of climb up on the seat. Presumably this thing has some bars right across the top.
Absolutely. In fact, there are little clip-on carabiners with those, tethers to it if you wish.
Yeah, I'll grab onto something as I basically stand up on the seat, and then I'll put 2 fingers to my forehead and try to use command on the pilot of the Tripod of Doom.
Ah, you're commanding Halicon, the ultra-competent allergenic Sheeran.
Mm-hmm.
And what are you commanding her?
I believe I have 5 options. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 options. So I think the best one is Halt, which is going to daze her for 1 round. So hopefully that will... I mean, will that help?
It certainly could. They are only a 3-person team, so now someone else could try to take over piloting, but who knows how good a pilot they are.
Right, and that's... Yeah, I just don't remember off the top of my head what daze does in this system.
So daze in Starfinder, I'm just looking it up. Yeah, unable to take actions, so they would not be able to pilot.
Yeah, no, that's good. So my this is a save, and my DC I want to say is 16 for first level spells.
All right. Ooh. So when you send this mental blast of energy to daze the Sheeran pilot of the Tripod of Doom, what are you trying to either overwhelm her with, or image, or what? How does this manifest?
It definitely from her point of view, she's presumably has some sort of piloting mechanism plus like screens in front of her, and just horrendously each of those screens will like physically morph into my face, and so will the steering, whatever steering system it uses, and they'll just like ask her questions that are like weirdly off-putting, like did you have your shots today, like what are you like, did you remember to eat breakfast, like just the sort of stuff that like her parents would ask her,
No one's ever asked Hecubino his last name, but it is Cronenberg.
Nice.
All right. You are successful at dazing Halicon, the pilot of Team Brainpower. All right. So that's going to bring us back around to the top with Vangie. You're no longer in the pilot seat, but you don't have weapons free either. What do you do?
Well, it's going to move. Oh, right, because I can't make the piloting check. So she'll like twitch a little nervously, looking towards the weapons, and then just look over to the is it the assimilator?
Colonizer, and then puff herself up and be like, Colonizer, we're gonna squish you like the bugs you are. And I will attempt to make an intimidate check. Nice. Go for it.
17.
All right, so you are successful. So there's a couple of things you can do with a successful taunt of your adversary. You could, are you trying to lower their popularity? Are you trying to get them to veer closer to you? Or are you trying to impose some sort of penalty on their pilot or gunner?
I'd like to lower popularity.
All right. So they were fairly popular before, but now less so. You can watch, by the way, in the comms panel, there are a variety of social media metrics and traffic metrics. Unfortunately, since none of you guys have even tried, you guys are still at the bottom.
Sure.
Okay, so after Vangie, now Vangie did pull back Team Hivemind, though, so that's not bad. After Team Hivemind, after Vangie is the Tripod. So the Tripod is going pretty fast right now because it is the most popular team out there, and it already has its weapons free. So I think it's going to veer right. By the way, a note about movement. Since we're driving vehicles, you must always move forward. You cannot move backwards and you cannot move strictly side to side. You can move diagonally as much as you want, but you must always be moving forward. Anyway.
So does the pilot being dazed have an effect on that?
Oh, thank you for the immediate reminder. So the pilot is dazed, and that's going to throw them into disarray because neither the Trox nor the Contemplative has a lot of piloting. Talos is convinced of his own abilities, though, so he's going to take the helm, but does not go well, and we're going to reduce them to half speed as they struggle to regain their power. So they're going to move ahead, but not nearly as fast as they should have, and it also steals basically an action from them. So they stagger ahead wildly, looking like the tripod has had one too many. The Colonizer is next, and the Colonizer is going to run right over this weapon's upgrade. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And it's going to release some acid pods to get in the way of the tripod following it, and then it's going to continue moving. So it moves quite a good distance. The tripod is dodging these rolling blobs of acid that want to explode when they're nearby. But that's not your problem, Quentin.
Quentin, so tell me something. If I wanted to do something to try and engage our fans, but also something that I'm really good at, would that be like a diplomacy thing? Could I be like, hey, I like Hecubino's idea of airing the quick clips of the team with the music and the Team Lizard Brain, dun, 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 dun. Just something to pump up the fans. Is that diplomacy?
Yeah, that would be diplomacy. You're just pumping up your fans. You're not saying anything that isn't true. You're just trying to excite them. Yep. Yeah, I think that's diplomacy through and through.
Yep, and each one of us is going to have something cool because Vangi's going to be on screen and she's going to be like, "Hua!" and it's going to go whoosh, power, and Hecubino is going to be on screen and it's going to whoosh, brains, and Bob's going to be on screen and it's going to be like, whoosh, totally human, you guys, whoosh, and Skritic is going to be on screen and it's going to be like, whoosh, tougher than dirt, and then Amu's going to be on screen and it's just going to be 4 question marks. Whoosh. It's going to be beautiful. It's going to be awesome. It's going to be 17, which I hope is a success.
17 is a success.
Yeah.
Yay! You have engaged the fans. You are no longer the least popular team. You're actually tied with both Team Rust Dragon and Team Hivemind now that they were taunted. But you're still behind Team Brainpower, unfortunately.
Oh, I hate Team Brainpower.
But you have built up some bit of engagement, some fan base. You're getting your names and images out there. This is the time when you have the most eyes and other optical organs on this. So it's really good that you started that engagement.
Dun 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 dun.
Skritic.
Trying to decide what I want to do here. Can I continue to run the scans, trying to plot like the most effective course through the canyon to basically.
Well, you're kind of far away from the canyon, so you've assessed some things about its geography. I don't know that you could plot a course from here.
Just the other vehicle is like in a cloud of dust. You should sneak attack it, right?
I mean, if that's a thing I can do, sure.
It's called Trick Attack.
Yeah. Oh, right. Sorry.
But we don't have weapons, right?
No,
I mean, he has a weapon.
But it wouldn't work well, yeah.
Can he ready the weapons? I mean, obviously that's something that needs to be done, right? If we want to attack with our weapons.
You taking an action to ready an attack if that's something you wish to do.
Sure.
What skills do you have? I bet you could probably. Do you have any social skills you could use to keep up with the momentum?
Not a whole lot,
Mr.
no.
Lives in a dirt hovel does not seem like you're.
I mean, look, he's a operative. I just assume that he has every single skill maxed.
I mean, I kind of do, but yeah, didn't
Well, there
really
doesn't
put
really
a lot of
seem to be a
ranks in.
penalty to failing, other than you waste an
Yeah, I mean-
action.
You can make a perception check of some sort. I'm guessing that's pretty good for you to, like, I don't know, look out for
All right.
weaknesses.
Appreciate everyone's suggestions, but Brian, what do you want to do?
And perception check is pretty good. I mean, can I basically scope out all of our competition and see where like the most immediate threat is, and try to provide basically a heads up on how to avoid?
Absolutely. So, are you looking ahead or behind? Because the most immediate threat is Team Rust Dragon. They're like right on top of you, but the other two ships are ahead, or the vehicles are ahead.
I assume I'd kind of be looking behind, largely because that's probably where the pilot's attention's not going to be.
Sounds good.
Where...
Why don't you make a perception check for me?
All right. Perception. 22.
Yep, that's good enough to tell you a couple things. So, you can make out a few details about this vehicle. Do you want to know things about its armor class, its speed, its hit points and hardness, or like its weapons?
I think it's weapons.
Okay, so this vehicle has distinct weapons in different arcs of fire. You know, you guys actually do as well. By the way, a turret-mounted weapon means its arc doesn't care. It can move in any direction. I'm using the same kind of rules that ships have for weapons for vehicles. So a turret mount can fire in any direction, but like something that's mounted on the rear can only fire in the arc behind you. Anyway, this vehicle has distinct weapon mounts. It's got an enormous cryo cannon mounted inside that dragon mouth. That means it's going to blast a breath weapon of cold, basically. So cold damage, possibly creating some sort of barrier, possibly reducing speed. On the sides, it has an array of shrapnel launchers, basically blasting lots of small pieces of metal all over the place, dealing piercing and slashing damage to anything nearby. And then on the rear, it has this whole system where those barrels of petrol can roll off and become flaming bombs. So if it's ever ahead of you, it will be using those.
I wonder if we can ignite those before they get a chance to use them.
From where you guys are located right now currently, the weapons aren't free, so like none of their triggers work, basically. But if you are right on the arc of the shrapnel launchers and cryo cannon, it's possible that you could be hit by both.
Ooh.
Yeah.
So, definitely tell them that.
Launchers might deal like more damage, but the cryo cannon might cause other systems failures.
Do I feel like the cryo cannon might have a more limited range?
They're all fairly limited in range.
Okay. So we can just get our distance from them, then we're pretty good.
It has the overall like appearance of a tank. I mean, it's a big rig, but thematically it is it's the slowest and it's the most powerful. All right. So that's it for Skritic. Amu.
Woo! All right, Amu finishes up mixing the concoction that they've been working on, cracks a finger into it, swirls it around, and puts it under Bob. Drink up.
Oh, okay.
I'm going to use a biohack, which is a basic booster. You get +2 enhancement bonus to all skill checks.
Nice.
Ooh. That's great.
For how long?
Oh, number of rounds equal to my key ability score modifier, which is wisdom, or not wisdom, is intelligence, so +3. So 3 rounds.
What is inside this biohack? Bob doesn't know, but I'm curious.
A couple of various strains of seaweed, some semi-artificial lubricants, and a chunk of Amu's finger.
Okay. Does it have any other extraneous side effects that are completely irrelevant from a combat perspective, but that Bob will experience?
An overwhelming sense of calm.
Oh,
It's Red
How
Bull and
sweet.
kerosene.
Rob is a much better person than most people I know. If given that opportunity, they would have
There's
done
a
me-
sequence of words that I never expected to hear on Critical Hit.
Right?
That's right after Hand Me That Piano.
Well, I basically put Steven's whole, comfortable existence in Rob's coral hands. And he was like, yeah, no, feel calm.
No, do no harm.
All right, cool. So after that, it is the Basilisk, which the Basilisk is going to move forward and snag one of the last weapons freeze. And then,
Is that even with their penalty that they had?
oh my goodness.
Good memory.
Thank you for the reminder.
Nope,
Thank
that's
you for the
good.
reminder.
That's fine.
Man, that stinks.
I mean, for them.
They just missed it. Oh, that's heartbreaking.
All right. On a separate comms link, Red Iron, the super grizzled Vanguard guy that you guys met before at the Renegade Steiner, will come over to you on a separate line, which you now realize is totally a thing you can do using the comms panel, and it will say, "It's against our interests to attack each other. Let's team up on the hive mind and the tripod to start." And with that, they let loose a torrent of readied social media attacks that that Dawn, their gnome, has readied against Team Lizard Brain. It's just meme after meme after meme. Not Team Lizard Brain. Team Brain Power. So against the tripod team, Talus's team, which is currently the most popular. So they're basically trying to drag them down to where you guys are, and at the end of this, they will be just as popular as everyone else. So no one is ahead, no one is behind. It's all a tie.
Talos claims that he loves the fans, but look at this secret footage of him spitting on a picture of your mother.
All right. After the Team Rust Dragon and the Basilisk go, it is Bob.
Okay, so let me ask: in what we're doing, especially is essentially a skills challenge. Can we use the same skills again and again, or do you have rules on that?
You can absolutely use the same skills again and again. I'm just going to adjudicate what you're trying to do every time independently.
Sure. Okay, so the first question I'm going to ask is to Hecubino, are we going to join up with them, or should I just try to get those that weapons cache right in front of their system, right in front of their machine?
Yeah, go ahead and swipe it out.
Okay.
Unless we can get to the other one.
I think we can at 8, right?
You certainly could get the other weapons free, and it will be difficult for them to get it without having to back up, basically.
Ooh, we could
that's why
double screw them over.
Yeah.
Yep, nope, let's get it. We'll make friends later.
Okay. I'm going to pour it on, and I'm just going to swerve right in front of them and grab that weapons cache.
Nice. So you swerve in front of them, the weapons free icon pops up, and green energy glows over the aforementioned "they're not there" weapons box, and it pops open, and there are 2 weapons mounted on the Sand Skink. One of them is a turret-mounted railgun, meaning there's a little seat in the middle where you could hop in and start firing it in any direction. The other is in those rear seats, a plasma cannon mounted towards the back that can fire from anyone behind you, which does plasma damage, which is electricity and fire. So you can continue moving on however you wish.
Yeah,
Where do you
I
wanna go?
want to continue moving on using my piloting skills.
Why don't you give me a piloting check real quick?
All right. 25.
Oh,
You
yeah,
had the plus
excellent.
2 that I gave
Where
you.
would
Oh,
you like to
27.
wind
Sorry.
Aha.
Oh, nice. All right, so I'm going to move this slightly so that you guys can see the map from a different direction. All right, so this shows you who's behind and who's ahead. So you guys were right here after you swiped the weapons free from right in front of Team Rush Dragon, which they're not going to be happy about. And then where would you like? You can move 4 squares ahead. Do you want to move? Do you want to stay hugging the side, or do you want to move off more into the main of the road?
So are we aware of these other colored discs that are in front of us or not?
Well, you're starting to pick them up on sensors.
Okay.
Can we get?
I think
that
I
other
mentioned
weapons
there
guy?
were some electromagnetic disturbances when Amu did that check earlier.
I think I want to kind of move towards the Formian ship.
Yep, 1, 2, 3, 4. So this would get you all the way up there, which is not super close. So this is the Formian ship, the Colonizer,
Yeah.
and this is the Tripod of Doom.
Okay. Yeah, I think we're okay in case somebody wants to use some weapons on the leaders.
So after Bob pilots you guys forward closer to the Tripod and the Colonizer, there's a bunch of different icons that start appearing on your screen. You can see them just outside the window visibly, and they're popping up on the scanners. These are the electromagnetic disturbances that I'd mentioned to Rob earlier when he had made the physical science check. So ahead of you are 5 other icons apart from the green weapons free that you had seen before. The closest to you is the glowing blue orb rune, the blue, with a strange symbol inside it, an ancient shield like that of a knight from a dimly remembered legend. Just to the right of that is a set of glowing red eyes above a computer terminal, with the terminal being attacked by tiny axes made of the same light. Off to the left over here is a gray vehicle that changes color and disappears into a violet backdrop to the point where you can't make it out anymore, and it just looks like purple mountains. So that's this purple one over here. Up ahead is a yellow haze that's constantly shifting, showing shapes within it, but nothing distinct. And then way off to the side, right by the Colonizer, is a cylinder narrowing to a point, surrounded by shattered plates, all in inky black scratches. It looks like a bullet shattering something. Well, not just a bullet, a huge shell shattering something.
Oh.
And that's the black icon over here. So those look like upgrades you guys could run over, just like you got the weapons-free upgrade.
Cool.
Hecubino, you are up.
Okay. You say I could engage the sponsors? What would that give
Absolutely.
me anything?
You can certainly try to pump up your product, and sponsors have been known, if you've given product placement that engages people enough, to give you boosts.
Yeah, I'll tap Quentin and have him basically patch me through, and I'll be like, I'll like kind of do like, you know, when you're like shielding your face from the sun, and be like, so much dust and grit. Luckily, we washed our windshield with space suds, so it's all clear up ahead.
Nice.
And I'd like to do a bluff check.
That sounds great. Do it.
27.
Woo! Perfect. All right. So a little menu pops up from your Space Suds interface that pops up, which is, would you like to go turbo clean? Would you like to have a Sud spray? Or would you like so clean it burns?
Burns like hygiene.
Oh Lord. Let's go with a sud spray.
All right. So the sud spray lets people spray space suds all over the track behind them. This means that vehicles that are close behind you must make a piloting check or suffer a minor collision, which will reduce their speed and cause them to take damage. So you can't activate that right now, but that is now something that your team can activate.
Okay. Somebody write it down.
Imagine like an
All right.
oil slick, except it's space suds.
I'm gonna asterisk it on the buggy. Yeah. Yeah, if you want to
Go.
put it down, Steven, go ahead.
And that's going to bring up Vangie.
All right.
Weapons
so we
are
have-
free,
Sweet.
so you've got a
Uh,
lot of different options now.
So she will poke the little comms message back to Team Rustdragon and be like, "Had to go with the weapons, but I won't turn them on you." And then she will push the railgun towards the Formians.
Ooh, you're going to start shooting at the leader of the pack?
Yep.
Okay.
Vroom.
So what
This is
do
going to be
I
a
roll for
standard.
that?
It's going to be a standard range attack.
Cool.
So you're proficient in the weapon. So just whatever your regular ranged attack would be.
And you're
Sweet.
using the turret, you said?
Yeah, the railgun.
All right.
And
Yep.
I have
Railgun's the only
versatile-
one that could target the Formians for what it's worth, because it's the only one that could target ahead of you.
in front. Yep.
Yeah,
And
the
I've got
crap gun
versatile
only
weapon
points back.
focus, which means that I get to apply weapon focus to this.
That's true, you do. This random turret-mounted railgun that you've never used before, you're ultra proficient in it.
I'm just that good. I've got a 22.
Yeah, that's going to hit. So go ahead and roll damage.
All right. What is the damage on this?
4d4 piercing damage.
Wait, any? There's no bonus or anything like that.
No.
Okay. Then I've got 8.
All right, so the
And just to be clear, my +3 weapons, the weapon specialization that I have doesn't apply.
that will apply. That does
okay,
apply.
so then actually add 3 to that.
So 11.
Yep.
Ouch. Well, that's it's nice that your weapon specialization applies, because that offsets a good deal of its hardness. So you're blasting this with just like bolts of magnetic energy, shooting projectiles out at it as fast as possible. And the carapace, it seems to focus a lot of its runic energy at absorbing it, but then you shatter that energy and start just cracking the carapace with blow after blow. So you pierce its hardness and deal it a decent amount of damage. It is not yet like a broken vessel or anything like that. You can kind of imagine by looking at your own vehicle's hardness and your own number of hit points. You've done a substantial blow to it, but it's still going.
Cool.
All right. After that is the Tripod of Doom. So, Halcon is no longer dazed, and they are looking for vengeance, I think.
That makes sense.
Yeah,
So I think
but they
we're
won't
gonna
get it.
start off with a couple of attacks. We're going to have Kex try to lash out with you guys using those tentacles again, and we're going to lash out at who is making themselves super prominent versus who is fading into the background.
Or I just blasted into some Formians, so I feel like I'm pretty prominent.
Vangie's prominent.
Yeah, I do have like giant laser banners attached to me.
That could be prominent.
Yeah.
Steve, Bob?
Oh, no, Bob's got his head down and he's got his wool cap on, so that protects him from everything.
Keeping a low profile
Yep.
so that he doesn't get a skull cap clamped onto him. Okay, Quentin.
Quentin is a floating sphere wearing a bisected Viking helmet. I would say he's relatively prominent.
Prominent. Okay, Amu.
Most of Amu's attached to the side of the ship, so
I'm going to go with low profile on that.
Yeah, again, question marks.
Okay. And Skritic.
I think largely just because of his size, he's probably pretty well tucked into there, and largely just been staring at screens and peeking out. I haven't been doing anything too showy.
All right.
So
Well,
probably-
you came at our pilot, so we're coming back at you. Except I say that in my Talos voice. You came at our pilot, so we're coming back at you! And a tentacle lashes out for Bob, despite him being low profile. It was unlikely, but it happened.
And what is he attacking against?
Your kinetic armor class.
All right, my kinetic armor class. Rob, that thing only did skills, right?
Yeah.
All right, let me. Kinetic armor class is 14. Oh, plus 2 for being in the ship, right? So, or in the buggy,
Yep.
so that's 16.
Yep, that is true, but that is not good enough. So, a metal cap, skull cap, covers your head and starts drilling itself, just lightly drilling itself into your skull. And it psychically bonds you to Talos.
Ah, I got a hat on a hat. Get it off, get it off.
And then Talos is going to target you with one of his mental attacks. So, why don't you give me a will save?
20.
All right, that is good enough to save for half damage, which means you are only going to take 9 psychic damage as Talos smashes your head with images of your own failure, of you just smashing into the walls and other ships crashing into you and blowing you up.
All right, so does that come off of stamina or hit points?
That'll come off of stamina first.
Ooh, man, I'm bloodied as far as stamina goes.
Yep. And then they're going to start clipping ahead. Now, unfortunately, they're back at their regular speed. They like the idea of shields. So they're going to go and pick up this blue shields icon and move forward. They then try to go and get the stealth icon, but it doesn't work for them. Because they've already picked up an upgrade. Rookies. They should have known better.
Should have watched more
Rookie.
reruns.
You hate to see that.
All right. That will bring up the Colonizer. The Colonizer is going to pick up these armor-piercing rounds. And then they are already starting to go into the canyon. They are so far ahead. Quentin.
Okay, I have a thing on my sheet, and it's a thing that I'd like to try if I can.
By the way, they just a quick update. The tripod was busy making attacks. The Colonizer attempted to release a new celebrity endorsement live, but they released the Formian Ant equivalent of that weird Kevin Spacey ad, so it did not work for them. So they are not. They actually are less popular now than they were before
Oh, good.
because they botched.
Wow.
Okay, so I have a question.
Shoot.
Looking at my sheet, it says I have a thing that I can do called the Inspiring Boost, where
Sounds cool.
I can signal an ally, like, say, Bob, who has taken damage from an attack, and help him regain stamina points using this feat power thing that I have.
Yeah, that definitely seems like something you could do.
How do I do that?
Well, what does the power say?
It says, signal an ally within 30 feet who has taken damage from an attack made by a significant enemy at any point after your last turn ended. Ally regains stamina points up to their maximum equal to twice my envoy level plus charisma modifier.
So how much is that?
Envoy level is 3, so 6. My charisma modifier is 3, so 9.
Okay. So it doesn't sound like there's a roll involved, so Bob would just regain 9 stamina. Is there anything else that the power says?
Not where I'm looking at it.
Okay, so how do you inspire Bob? How do you get... So stamina is, hit points are damage. Hit points is Bob got, his shoulder blown off. Stamina is more like, oh, man, I narrowly dodged that, but I'm not going to be able to narrowly dodge everything. So how do you inspire Bob?
Is there still a drilling helmet on his drilled head?
Yes, there is.
I would like to slash it away using my blade and remind him that a pint cannot hold a quart. If it holds the pint, it's doing the best it can.
So you're able to pull the cap off and come in your little sphere form and whisper that into Bob's ear, but the skull cap reattaches itself quickly. It's going to take an actual check to deliberately remove that, not an incidental benefit of your ability, but you are able to inspire him briefly. Even if the inspiration is, what are you talking about, Quentin? I don't understand.
Oh no, it would be. Oh no, I get that motivational quote, Quentin. Thank you.
Perfect.
Yep.
Good work, Quentin.
Robot recognize robot.
Skritic, you're up.
Weapons master.
Yeah, is there
shoot till they die?
One weapon
Shoot till they die.
There are 2 weapons that are vehicle mounted. One is the railgun that's already been used this round, and much like piloting, I'm not going to let you use the same weapon more than once in a round. But there is a rear-mounted weapon.
I
Bob?
think I might use that rear-mounted weapon then.
Stephen, could you tell him what that is?
Sure. The rear mounted weapon is a plasma cannon. It's a ranged attack versus the EAC, and it does electricity and fire damage. It does not say anything about a range, so I'm guessing it is infinite. That if you shoot it fast enough with this light gravity, it'll actually travel around the planet and smash into one of our lead vehicles.
Yeah, that's a lot to assume from no range listed.
Also, I think it assumes Akaton is like a flat Earth. That's weird, man.
No, it's a globe. It's going to go all the way around the equator, come back, and
bend.
Yeah, gravity and stuff.
Yeah. Gravity energy. It works.
Light follows the parallax of the quadriceps
Of the zenith.
of the hydrocephalus, and then as you exit the equivalent periarc.
We have already spent too much time on this.
A bunch of people on board start telling you how this plasma cannon is supposed to work.
It shoots stuff. Point it and pull the trigger.
Is there a trigger? Then okay, that's what I'm pulling. Aiming at the big guy behind us, and I just roll a normal attack, or what do I?
It's going to be a normal ranged attack for you.
Oh,
Okay.
didn't we I just told the Basilisks we weren't going to attack them.
Oh,
We are
yeah,
not a
yes.
very coordinated team. Seeing as how our very first move was pushing our pilot off the pilot seat.
That's legit. That's legit.
I knew this was going to happen.
let's see. I guess I have to look at my equipment there. All right, 16 to the basilisk.
Ooh, let's take a look at the basilisks. So this is their EAC. So this will be a little bit lower. So it hits. It hits.
Yeah, I hit. Wait, were these guys that weren't supposed to shoot?
So go ahead and roll that plasma damage. 2d10.
2d10.
13.
All right. So you've dinged it up. Now, what thing you notice is that the basilisk is really resilient. Like, they look like they're tougher than the sand skink. They're probably tougher than any other vehicle out here. So you did some damage to them, but they might be fine.
Okay.
How does the crowd react? How does our reputation score get affected by that?
So, so far, because you're brand new, people are still forming an opinion about you. You guys, you pitched yourself as ragtag. Ragtag can mean a lot of things. Could you have the honorable motif? Sure. Did this help that motif? No. So maybe you have the win at any cost because we're, scrappers theme, and that's fine. People are still getting to know you, and so it's going to be your reputation score is going to be more influenced by how you spin things than your actions for right now.
Okay.
Amu, that brings it up to you. So you had given a biohack, and you're still at the sensor panel.
Yeah. So it looks like the Colonizer is the one that's way out in the lead right now, right?
Yep.
That's right.
Bob also has a thing on his head.
That's true.
Oh.
It looks mechanical, like it would take some sort of engineering check to remove it.
Mm.
You can make a medicine check for free, not even as an action.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I will make a medicine check to see what needs to be done for Bob.
Sure.
It'll be a 23.
Oh, that's not good. It should probably be removed. That's bad. Shouldn't have things drilling into your brain.
Right.
Okay,
Does
so
engineering pull it out of there?
Action.
That took a medicine check?
Things with a central nervous system don't like to have their central nervous system perforated.
I said it didn't take an action. I didn't say it was going to be super helpful. So, Rob, what would you like to do?
I'm gonna take advantage of the fact that Bob should still be super calm. Tell him not to worry and do an engineering check to get this off of his head.
Nice. I'm going to go ahead and give you a miscellaneous +2 circumstance bonus because of your proficiency in medicine and having made that medicine check to remove it, knowing a little bit more about android biology and how to remove it safely. So go ahead and make that engineering check.
Oh boy, that's gonna be a 9.
Yeah, no. You pull it. You're like, I'm pretty sure it's like the rule of the T-Rex. If you pull it off slowly, it won't notice. But that's not true.
Yeah. Who's an engineer?
I am an engineer.
Yeah, Bob might be removing that on his own turn.
All right.
From his own head.
All right.
That'll be Amu.
That makes it the Basilisk. And over your private comms, Renard's like, we had a deal. See if I ever trust you again. Oh, great. We can try to collide with you. Perfect.
Oh, he's not gonna go for weapons. Interesting.
Well, we're gonna go to collide with you, yeah. Now, not
we made
having
him
weapons is a huge drawback, but we're still gonna collide with you.
All right.
So, why don't you make a piloting check?
Okay,
And
I can do that.
Find you are at full speed
Uh-huh.
and you are not off-roading.
Okay.
So
if I am at full speed or I'm not at full speed?
you are at full speed.
Okay, so that's a -2, but I have this +2 mod, so it
Sure, you got biohacked. So there you go.
everything works itself out, and I end up with a 33 with a nat 20.
Nice.
Ooh, perfect. So it tries to slam into you, and you can easily dodge it. And I will also let you. Okay, you can see where the two vehicles are.
Yes.
All right, I will let you slide, which is to say, move in any direction you want, both yourself and the Basilisk.
How many spaces?
One square, just one square.
What do we want?
I would set the Basilisk back and us forward one, but if you want a different angle, like I guess try to also get us away from each other. So maybe diagonal up one for us and diagonal one back for them.
Yeah, that'll work. And then
Like that?
Yeah, that'll work.
Yeah.
Okay. Great.
Sorry.
So what does Bob say?
Can I say something?
Absolutely.
So this happens. The Basilisk tries to run us over, and Bob does something, and when the smoke clears, Hecubina's just holding on to the bars on top, and he's like, "Whoa, what just happened?"
Nice. Does Bob have a response?
No, he's concentrating both on trying to drive and on this thing that's drilling into his head. but I'll
Fair enough. All right.
I'll
Well,
attempt to do a fist bump, and the Hecubino doesn't notice, and we miss.
Bob, it is your turn.
Okay, so if I leave this thing on my head, I'm going to take another 9 stamina damage, or it's going to do another attack.
You are going to be psychically bonded to Talos, and he will be able to direct his mind powers at your mind, regardless of distance, forever.
Okay. Well, I guess you said I had to do an engineering check to get this off my head.
I did.
Okay, so how does that screw up our piloting? Because we're still going to move forward, right?
You are still moving forward. There's no doubt about that. So you can try to do this, and then all you'll be able to do is make a piloting check to try to be sure you're basically swerving in the right direction. But you will take a penalty to that check.
Oh, that's fine.
I mean, your engineering is almost assuredly higher than mine, but I also have it for what it's worth.
Yeah, but the attack is going to happen. The attack's going to happen right away, right?
Vanky's going to go before them.
It goes Bob, Hecubino, Vangi.
Oh,
Then
okay. So it's not going to happen on my turn.
No, it happens on the tribod's turn.
So my engineering is 10.
Oh yeah, that's much higher than mine. Mine's just a +4.
So I should
You have
probably
a +2 bonus still.
Yeah, and I have a +2 bonus.
Yeah, I would say just go for it then, considering that should hopefully ignore the penalty.
Okay. As I miss the fist bump with Hecubino, I'm just going to reach up to the little skull cap, and I'm going to attempt to push a little switch on the side of my head and pop that thing off.
All right, go ahead and make an engineering check. Oh yeah, that'll do it. Nice, good work.
And that would be 22 if I've got that +2 skill check.
It was not super easy for what it's worth. You only succeed because of that innate sense of calm from the injection, or not injection, drink Amu gave you.
Okay. All right. So then I'll just fling it off into the off the buggy out into the landscape.
Sounds good. Now, why don't you also make a piloting check?
Okay. Now you said this one has a penalty of -2.
I did.
Now, so question, I've already used Rob's thing 3 times.
Rob, how does that thing work? What does it say? Does it just
Lasts
+2 to
for
skill?
3 rounds?
Oh, 3 rounds.
you
So this
still
is
get
only
it.
my second round. Okay. So it'll be just a straight up piloting. Well, let's
The
see.
more skill checks you make, the more benefit you're getting out of it.
Yeah.
So,
Okay. So I'll do
Good for you.
piloting -2
so it's
+2.
really, yeah. And then -2 again
Plus
because
-2.
you're moving up.
Okay.
Yep.
So this is going to be a 28.
Nice. That's still excellent. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So you can almost catch up with the colonizer, and you have a fair bit of flexibility in your movement. So ahead of you are the purple upgrade, which again was the ship disappearing into purple mountains. The red upgrade, which was red eyes and axes hacking at computers. And then the yellow upgrade, which was a smoky haze that obscured everything around it.
What do you guys want?
What was the purple one again?
That's we go disappear.
Purple one's
like
like
a
a stealth one, probably.
Yeah, stealth.
Purple Mountain's Majesty.
Is that what you guys want?
I like the hacking
all right.
thing because that just sounds like fun. I don't know what it means, but
The thing is, though, our best hacker is also our best engineer and our pilot.
Yeah, my
So
computer.
I don't know if
fair.
it's going to require us
Amu's
to
got
do an
computers.
action.
Oh, Amu's got computers too?
Yes.
What's your
Oh,
computers?
9.
Oh, I'm at 10, but 9 is good.
So it sounds like computers or stealth.
Yeah,
Honestly,
in that case, I don't know if it's going to take a skill check, but it gives Amu something else to do. So let's get
let's
the
veer over and grab the
let's
hacking
get the hack.
and try to as we're moving forward, grab the hack, but also try to avoid the tripod guys again if we can.
Sure. Would you like to veer off to the right side of the track, which is over more closer to the colonizer?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So you guys pick up the red hacking icon, and as you do so, the computer panels open, like the terminal that you guys have opens up a whole new set of menus where with your scanners you can not just perform like, diagnostic checks using science checks or engineering or perception or survival. You can also perform computers checks to gain access to the other vehicle's systems.
Oh, nice.
And let's see. That is Bob. So Hecubino.
I'm going to try and access the brain of the pilot of the colonizer. So basically, I'm going to try another command attack.
Ooh. All right. So you reach out and you can sense a complex, like the brain you reach is very, very limited. It's very, very small, but like it's limited in the way that a computer is limited. It can do things that your brain can't do. It performs incredible calculations per second, but it also doesn't seem to have emotions or even a sense of self. And yet it is occupying an individual, physical being.
Okay.
So what do you do?
Yes, I will. I'll use halt again to daze it. And basically I will just think the smallest thought that I can, which is probably just like a little like pinging noise and maybe like a little light, and I will do that 100,000 times. I'm gonna like denial of service it.
Nice.
That's great. So what's the will save DC for your
16.
attack again?
16.
All right. Oh, no. I roll a 2. So they definitely fail, and you have denial of service the pilot of the colonizer, and they just like short out at their station of interfacing with their living ship. And with that, you guys are basically right at the canyon entry to the Rift Spires, those towering pillars that I had mentioned before, inside the Adaio Rift, the heart of Akaton, the red planet. You are right behind the Formian colony utility vehicle, the Colonizer. The Tripod of Doom is right behind your betrayed multiple times rivals. The new team Rust Dragon are bringing up the rear, and the hosts are excited as they say, "That sure was exciting, wasn't it, folks? All kinds of twists and turns and explosions, crashes, ferocity and mayhem, all for your entertainment." Indeed, this was a spectacle of violent excess. And speaking of excess, we wish to thank our perpetual sponsors, Abadar Black, the credit card for those who don't need money. And there's a rotating swarm of camera bots all around you guys as you start to race into the next section of your first race on Drifters.
Nice. Well, that sounds like a great place to take a break this week. Holy cow. Some fast action going on in this game. Gotta love it. Everybody having fun? I hope so. We're going to find out what happens when we enter the canyons next time on Critical Hit. But until then, here's hoping all of your dice rolls are critical hits.
This podcast is copyright 2021 by Major Spoilers Entertainment, LLC.